Great presentation today. IBM TV presented a DDA Tech Talk, and we had amazing NFL players, NBA players, and other venture capitalists that were talking about technology and, of course, how to invest money, things like that. I had the blessing of I had a chance to watch him play. Desmond Bryant, he is here today. Desmond, tell me a little bit about the difference between playing in the NFL and playing with technology people right now and being an angel investor.
Well, both worlds are definitely extremely competitive, but I think it's a different kind of competition. You know, obviously on the football field, it's a physical fight. We almost war out there on Sundays. So, you know, there's no really comparing what I do now as an investor to that. But it is equally competitive, you know, particularly in the last few years. Venture capital, angel investing, it seems like it's really exploded. It seems like everywhere there seems to be a company that is, you know, raising money and putting money into the marketplace. At the same time, everybody has a startup that wants to pitch it to you. Me and my partner have learned that the hard way. Like, we have to screen a lot of these calls because literally everyone we meet is like, oh, you're raising money? Or you have investment money? Like, okay, we want to talk to you. So it's a different kind of competition. It's just a crowded space, and so you just kind of have to weed your way into your own niche corner and, you know, really make your mark there.
And, you know, we were talking earlier during the panel. I asked a question about the NFL, the NBA, any sport whatsoever. Athletes are not really, I want to say protected, basically. I don't know, because you have agents, you have people, but people forget that if you make $10 million, you don't make $10 million. Yep. You're making a percentage of that because you have to pay your team, your people, your agent, taxes, everything, right? Yes. So by the end of the day, you know, we don't know the amount. But what was interesting about it is I have friends of mine, the NFL, the NBA, that have actually created scholarships and things for college and schools for kids and things like that, and they've invested in that. That's their angel investment, kind of, right? And what you're doing, like you said, you have you developed it with another person, with Lamar, and you guys put it together. And I was asking him in the panel during the presentation about, is there a program that maybe we can make it in a way where these athletes are actually wanting to do it? There's a difference. In life, I always learned this. We do what we want, not what we need.
Right.
Okay? So how do we make it wanting? And you answered a great question. I just, you know, you wanted to elaborate. This is a perfect time to elaborate to our viewers, but we want to make sure that, how do we make it, you know, I know people in Miami are saying, how do you make it sexy, right? How do you make it where it's attractive? How do you make it where people actually want to do this? Because they have the money, they don't have the education. The NFL does give education. Some people don't even know that. I don't know about the NBA and the MLB, but again,
I'm sure they have something.
I'm sure they have to have something similar by now, right? So give us a little bit of that, you know, and also why this? Like, what attracted you to that?
Okay, let me start by saying, you know, that's been one of our challenges. Is that I was just talking about the competitive nature on the field, and so we found, you know, after we're done and okay, we're trying to help other players and bring this educational programming to players, it's like there's still some of that competitive edge. Like, it's hard at times to really connect with other players because they still have this kind of feeling of this competitiveness that's like inherent because, you know, we've been playing football forever and it's just part of the game. And so that's kind of been one of the challenges that we've been working on. But at the same time, being that we are players, I feel like more people are receptive to what we're trying to do. You know, educational programming from the NFL isn't as sexy as, hey, here I'm a guy, I did the exact same thing you did on Sundays, but now I've transitioned into making my money work for me. Wouldn't you like to know what I'm talking about? And, you know, I feel like that's really helped us. Another one of the problems is that, you know, there's that 30 for 30 story. Oh, you know, more than 50% of guys go broke or whatever. Just lose all their money, and, you know, that's.
Or they go into debt.
They go
forget broke. They owe money.
They go into debt. They're broke, and, you know, part of that is because what you're talking about, there was no protection. Sometimes there'll be the agents or some type of financial advisors that get them into bad positions or take money away from them, and so guys are inherently, again, scared of the investment world. They don't understand really that, you know, there are safe ways of investing that you know that you're going to get a certain return. And so trying to just illuminate that aspect of the financial markets to them is, you know, that's our goal. And I think, you know, for me, it's just, I saw it happen to all the people around me. I can't tell you, I signed a lot of my closest friends ended up switching over to my financial advisor because they realized, hey, this guy that I'm working with isn't doing a good job. He's doing something shady, like, and so a lot of them ended up coming with me. And so I felt like I wanted to help them service them in some sort of way. Neil and Mark know this.
And here's the other thing. It's not even shady sometimes. Sometimes it's just there's so many clients, right? How could you take care of one person or take care of 10 people? So in other words, they're looking at, it's just like an investor. Like you look at Shark Tank, right? Mm-hmm. And in a Shark Tank, let's say, I don't want to name any of the sharks. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. Mm-hmm. Well, let's just say they invest in 10 projects. Mm-hmm. Some of those projects stay on the shelf. Yep. They don't ever make it into their group because they are focusing on the ones that are easy to break into, mm-hmm. right? And open up those doors, and here we go, and here's on QVC, or here's this, and then the other ones are staying on the shelf until they see an opportunity.
Yes.
But then that project doesn't go anywhere, and that person that invented it or that idea can't do anything because they did a deal with a Shark Tank.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is, you think about the NFL or NBA, and I've been very blessed to be in that world because I was in the gym business for many, many years, almost 2 decades. And I was able to be at Tampa Stadium, and I lived in Tampa, I went to USF, and in Dallas Stadium when I lived in Arlington, I was in high school, and I got to see the Cowboys 1-15. They were 1-15. Then I leave, they didn't win the Super Bowl. But anyway, this was in the 90s. But so now I look at it and I remember they all have foundations. Mm-hmm. They all have nonprofits. Oh, yeah. So I think that's one of the things they have to do. Like as soon as you get to the NFL, the NBA, you got to get a 501c3. It could be for kids, it could be for students, it could be for education, it could be whatever. So that is part of what they do for the community. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about this, and especially when you were talking earlier with, how do we turn that nonprofit into a partnership with a program, and then fund the nonprofit through that program? Because I have a nonprofit now for children with cancer. People coming up to me from Bitcoin and this and that, and like, David, I want to help you. I was like, I don't know enough. Right. I need to learn because I don't want to make a bad decision. Right. Getting a 501c3 is hard enough. And then I want to fund events for children with cancer. I want to pay for insurance. I want to do a lot of stuff in the community of Miami. I want to do it right here. So I live here, you know? Awesome. So how do we do that? Or have you come up across that question, or that's something that you've thought about for your organization, mm-hmm. to fund nonprofits that, and at the same time, I think that would make it, I don't know, maybe you can answer that, but that would make it even a little bit more easier for people to say, I want to do this program because that program can fund my nonprofit, is that something that you thought about?
So that's something that I'm taking into consideration. I mentioned earlier that I have the Bryant Family Foundation for athletics and academics, and so that's something that I've been thinking about. I haven't really figured out the answer to it. I think, like you're saying, developing some sort of partnership with a larger nonprofit is definitely the route to go. They obviously have access to the most capital. As a Desmond Bryant Foundation, that's hard to get access to capital. Whereas I just met a woman from the Children's Museum here. Like if I partner with them, I'll be able to, more exposure. It'll just help. It's kind of synergized together, to help each other grow,
Absolutely. Well, anything else that you feel like people need to know about what you do, or?
Yeah. One more thing I guess I got to talk about is the Domos co-living.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's the real estate company that a few of my buddies from Harvard and I we founded last year, and what we're doing is we're focusing on acquisition rehabs of apartment buildings. We buy apartment buildings, but then we go in and we're trying to make more affordable housing for people, and we're doing so by shared living spaces. And so through that vehicle, we're able to, one, create cheaper housing for individuals, but we're also be able to get better returns for our investors. And that's something I'm really proud of. We actually just went under contract with Rossmore, a deal in LA, and it's going to be the biggest co-living space in LA, and we're trying to position ourselves
right here. You heard it.
We're trying to position ourselves to be the major players in the U.S. and we already are the biggest co-living company in Atlanta. So definitely check us out. Keep your eye out for us. We'll be growing this year.
Well, Desmond, thank you for your time. Desmond Bryant, ex-NFL player, angel investor, and of course, as you heard, what he's doing with the community and the outreach. And again, this is Miami, where everybody wants to come, everybody wants to live here. But this weekend, everybody is here. This is the big game coming up. So again, from Miami, from the Frost Science Museum, my name is David Octavio Gandel. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back soon. God bless you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no doubt.
Would you mind taking a picture?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, that was great. And cut. Good stuff.
Can we get you for just one more interview?
Sure.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
So I'm going to give you my card. If
All
anything
right.
you need, if you ever need me to speak to your kids.
Yes.
Okay. So,
All right. There you go. Changes for life. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, so, yeah, and then, and I'd love to introduce you to Brett Wright and Bushrow because they're doing a lot on here
All
too.
right.
So,
All right. Okay.
you know, great minds think alike.
Definitely, man.
It's a
Definitely.
pleasure meeting you,
Pleasure
man.
meeting
God bless you.
sir.
Stay in shape now.
Yeah. I need to get back in shape, man.
All right, let me get the next one.
Okay.
Hey guys, I got a,
Get me Scarlett, get the next one in.
I got a guest for you. Come here. Hold on, I got a guest for you.
You need to come in? Hold the door.